Jake Paul looks good, guys. I just caught this training footage. Moving around on the bag. How much do you want to get from training footage? I get it, but everything is your answer. Everything. There's a reason that they make these. There's a reason that the embedded, you guys remember Countdown? Was it HBO that was doing that? Oh, it was so good. So good. They would follow Floyd Mayweather, and the very day that they filmed it, they would put it out. They would literally film him like 24/7. They would film him, and hours later, they would drop it. So you're right in the moment. But it's all training footage. The whole thing is training footage. How's this guy look on the mitts? How fast is his run? Like, there's certain things that are quantifiable. I'm getting in better shape. A guy loves to say that. Well, you can actually prove that. A mile run is an excellent way, an excellent tool. What did you run a mile at 2 months ago? How fast can you run a mile now? 100-yard dash is a very quantifiable. A guy, I'm getting stronger. They asked Frank Mir this one time, and I always appreciate it because Frank was so condescending. He was so condescending and so accurate. He said, I'm getting stronger. And they go, well, how do you know you're getting stronger? And Frank goes, all right, when you're in the weight room, there's this thing called a plate, and the plate has a number on it. So you keep track of the numbers that you can lift and know if you're getting stronger or not. But Frank is right. Like, there's actual quantifiable ways. All right. So when I watch Jake Paul, because people do this all the time, they'll be real dicks about it. Some guy will look great on the mitts. So, well, the mitts doesn't count. It's like, well, it kind of does count. If I have you working out on the mitts from a year ago, and I have a new tape today, and I can juxtapose those, I actually can see some timing. I actually can see some speed. I actually can see some footwork. I can see some power, and I can compare it. Now, Jake is in a wildly difficult spot. Boxing is unlike, by example, track and field. Track and field is all about personal records. You do not need to be faster than the guy standing next to you. Right? Now, you can win and you can get trophies on that, but it's not actually your goal that your coach is working on you with. You just today want to be faster, throw further, jump higher than a previous version of yourself. Boxing doesn't work that way. It is straight. It doesn't matter how good you are. It is 100% comparative to how good is this guy. I understand that. But as human beings, we have to start somewhere. And I think there are many things that are going to be wins for Jake. I do not subscribe to the idea. Now, he does. He will not agree with me, but an older version of himself, as he looks back, will see that Chael makes a very fair point. There's a number of things that are going to be wins or not for Jake. Now, Joshua's got one. Crush that man, get your hand raised. That's it. Well, I don't see it like that for Jake. I don't see it like that. And I know you guys don't either. I know you don't, because so many people that are predicting this fight won't even happen. Or that are predicting if this fight happens, these guys are going to be nice to each other. What does this word exhibition mean? Right? There's all these things where you're trying to take away, and you're not necessarily wrong. If Jake shows up for this fight, that's a win. If Jake goes out there and competes and can slip out of the way of some of these combinations, that's a win. If Jake can get a hand on this guy, and I mean one hand, it's a win. Now, you got to just trust me on this one. It is so hard to hit a skilled boxer. It is so incredibly hard. I had 4 MMA fights the first time that I went into a boxing gym and sparred. And I'm telling you, just to get your hand to touch that guy that knows how to move in these kinds of ways is such a difficult thing to do. When I look at Jake, I don't have the ability until the fight to compare him and Joshua. That is the comparison. But I do have the ability to compare footage of Jake today versus footage of Jake from other days. I have never seen him look so good. And it's in every capacity. I have never, now if you guys go watch this video, but it's just a heavy bag. The camera's out of the way, he's doing his thing. Just a heavy bag. No coach calling out numbers, nothing. Free. It's a free form wherever he wants to go, but he's moving. And his feet are moving. And his power is there, and that bothers me a little bit. A little bit. Because no matter how good Jake's power is, it's not going to be enough. I've had people ask me that before. How much do you squat? How much do I squat? I squat enough. That's how much I squat. That's it. How hard do you hit? I hit hard enough. Okay? Well, that's true if I'm taking on a guy my size, which in my sport there was weigh-ins. So I did take on guys my size. They're going to weigh these boys in. It doesn't make any damn bit of difference. These guys are unlimited. Right? You weigh as much as you can. I'll weigh as much as I can. And by the way, we're not even going to be close. Now, I tell you that because Jake's ability to hurt Joshua does not exist. Jake has an ability to annoy Joshua, and he has an ability, at least theoretically, to point and outpoint Joshua. Now, before you push back and tell me how unlikely, that's not what we're talking about. What I do not want to see, everything's a trade, all right? If you're putting your power into something, you're putting your power into, there's a level where I got to stop my feet. It's very important that I'm moving. It's very important that I'm light in the sport of fight. Very, very important that I'm moving. I come off faster and my defense is better. If I want power, I got to plant at least for a millisecond. And this is the trade. But now I'm exposed. Now I'm in one spot. That becomes a problem. George Foreman had let you hit him. George Foreman had a theory. He'd go to the hospital at the end of the night. He didn't even care if you hurt him. He would let you hit him because that would bring you in. If you can touch me, then I can touch you. George was a great big guy. He was always taking on smaller guys. He was always taking on the lighter guy that at least in theory could float around. George would let you hit him. Boom, boom. He'd give you 2 or 3 shots so he could get 1. And I just share with you, I don't love the idea of Jake trying to hurt Joshua. That can be a byproduct of building up. I used to work with a fighter, Uriah Hall. Uriah had incredible power, but in the gym, we had to train him, and it carried over to his performances in the octagon, but we had to train him. Do not try to hurt that guy. Just touch him. Just touch him. Just touch him. Just touch him. Keep your hands touching his head and his body. That's it. And eventually, boom, boom, you will just find the shot that you're not even looking for. And when we could get him in that mode, oh, you want to know a scary guy. Uriah Hall, when he could get it in his head, but it was hard. It was a battle for him. It is not how he wanted to fight. He wanted the highlight reels. He wanted the exposure. Okay, I got to go hit this guy hard. It was a very natural thing. When we could program him and he would buy in to just touch, oh, he used to float. He used to float around the ring. He'd touch you 30 times before you ever touched him once back. He was so quick. At any rate, we need to see that from Jake, in my opinion. Okay, now again, because there's other wins for Jake. If Jake gets to round number 2, that's a win. Guys, can we agree? If Jake gets to round number 4, that's a win. Francis Ngannou, and I won't have these numbers right, but I'll have the story right. Francis Ngannou was knocked down for every minute of his fight with Joshua. If that fight was 3 minutes, then he went down 3 times. If that fight was 4 minutes, then he went down 4 times. He got knocked down equal to as many minutes as there was, and I seem to remember a second round. So I just share with you, it is a big deal, and I would think that Francis's chances are better. I would think that Francis as a big guy, but you also understand where that's a very different fight. Francis is not the guy that's going to float around. Francis is not trying to touch you and move. Francis played the same game with Joshua that Joshua played with him, which is I'm a big, strong animal. I'm going to hit you in the face. And when Francis went out there with that demeanor, it allowed him to be hit back. And I just share we need a very opposite approach from Jake as to one from Francis. And when I watched Jake on this heavy bag, I loved it. I loved everything I was seeing. One small caveat. Let's not try to hurt this son of a bitch because we're probably going to fail. When I talk about how hard do you hit, I hit hard enough. Well, but the opposite could be true too. How hard do you hit? Well, not hard enough. Not hard enough for a 240-pound Olympic champion. So let's play a game of tag. Let's touch him. Let's move. McGregor did real well with Floyd when he played a game of touch. When he started to try to hurt him, zapped his energy, ran his battery down, ultimately a TKO. Look, this is a very different fight. That is not going to be my full analysis too. I'm going to bring you more, but in the world of Jake Paul and preparing and training and taking this serious, just in this one video that I saw, he checked all those boxes.